Hi, welcome. Today's lesson we're going to be going over some Qigong exercises for strengthening really the lungs and the immune system. Right now I'm in New York, it's the fall, and the season of the lungs is the fall, so we can be more prone and susceptible to lung-related issues, especially if you're already struggling with things like asthma or COPD or bronchitis, things of that nature. The lung and the large intestine are related in Chinese medicine. They're sort of looked at as the same, as sort of one channel, one path, one organ system, two sides of the same coin. So we're going to coordinate a few different exercises. We're going to go over 3 or 4 today to help us to really stimulate these organ systems, the channels, the musculature around these organs, because each one of our organs, today we're going to work with the lungs, we're going to work with the spleen and stomach, and then we're going to work with the kidneys. And all of the organs actually have an intrinsic movement to them within our torso. What ends up happening over time as we age, as we get injured, as we take on different stresses in our life, a lot of people's torsos, mine included, this happened to me for many years, become restricted, meaning the tissues and the musculature, sort of the canopies really that the organs live within, inside of our body, have less and less movement over time. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to release some of the tension, the muscular tension in the tissues, in the soft connective tissues, in the fascia of our body to help release some of that, to get the organs back to their more intrinsic, natural state of healthy movement. And hopefully that will help things along a little bit. If you're new to the channel, my name is Jonathan Breshin, and please, if you feel any pain at any point along any one of these exercises, you have done too much. The motto here is no pain, lots of gain. And so if you feel any kind of pain or whatsoever, that is your signal to lay off. If we are looking at a dial, if we're going to go 100%, we never go 100% in Qigong. We're going to aim for 60 or 70% of our capacity. Okay, so this is sort of the opposite of what a lot of us are used to. And if you are interested in learning a bit more about Qigong, please go ahead and hit the link somewhere in the description or in the comments below where I wrote out a guide to the most frequently asked questions on Qigong. So go ahead and click that link and you can download a free PDF. Some people like to read a little bit more than others, and that's my gift to you. Hopefully that sheds some light, and feel free to leave any comments below. So go ahead and get ready. We're going to begin in our what we call our Wu-Ji stance, which is just a neutral position, neutral stance today. Feet flat under our hips. We're going to try to let all the weight of the body settle into the legs and into the feet and ultimately into the floor. We're going to extend through the upper back, through the top of the head, slightly tuck the chin, because a lot of us have these postures of like this, we're hanging over. So we don't want to just lift the head, or that kind of puts a kink in the neck. We want to imagine from the upper back there's a string that extends up through the top of the head, and that's gently, remember 60-70%. Even here it's going to be a little less. Everything is just a gentle intention. So the head lifts. We're going to try to release the tailbone. So what's helpful here is you tuck under and then stick your butt out, and you kind of identify that range of motion that you have. And the neutral position should be somewhere in the middle, where it feels almost like the tailbone sinks down to the floor. So the weight is spread evenly across both feet. Our knees are not locked. They're slightly bent, like we're about to sit on a high stool. The tailbone is released. The head lifts from the upper back, extends up towards the ceiling. The shoulders are relaxed and sinking down like we're holding on to groceries, heavy grocery bags in our hands, or dumbbells. Tailbone is relaxed. And the last piece is the breath. We're going to try to bring our awareness into the lower belly, the lower back. And ultimately, we want to feel that area expand with every breath, but without force. No force is required. None of that. We want to simply observe and watch and see if we can bring and guide the breath down here through our awareness. We're going to let the knees settle, sink down. Arms are going to extend as we extend the knees. Everything rises up as we inhale. Exhale as everything starts to sink down towards the center. And my knees settle. I'm just going to do a few of these. We're going to inhale, rise up, exhale, sink down. You're going to go at your own pace. I encourage you to try to go as slow as you can, even when you think you're going fast. Even when you think you're going slow, you're actually probably going pretty fast. In my experience working with lots of people over the years. So try to mirror me as much as you can, but you have to stay at your own pace. Okay? And we never want to hold the breath. So I say we inhale as the body rises, but if you need to take several breaths, then do that rather than holding. And we exhale on the way down. Okay. Always looking for the yin within the yang and the yang within the yin. Meaning as the body lifts and the knees extend and the arms rise, we want to see if we can feel a counterweight sinking through the bottoms of the feet. As everything starts to settle down, the arms sink, the knees sink, what is countering up through the top of the head and lifting? Shoulders remain relaxed and sinking throughout. Elbows are heavy. Tailbone sinks. We'll do one more and we'll settle in a nice neutral position back in our Wu Ji for a moment. We're going to let the arms float up. Almost like they're resting on a giant ball, shoulder height. If you're super locked up in your shoulders, this might be rough for a few moments, but ultimately, we want to let everything sink down. So most people hold on to so much tension here. In fact, you may not realize that you're holding on to tension. So over time, gravity will take over here, and you won't be able to raise your arms for too long. But it feels like we're resting the arms from the tips of the fingers to the armpits. We're going to inhale. Arms rotate to palm up. Exhale as the arms start to close. So this exercise is for the lungs. We want to maintain a lifting through the upper back, through the upper crown, sinking of the tailbone. And this is like a massive bellows, opening and closing, coming from the center of the body. So it's not just open and close with the arms, but I don't know if you can see, my whole body is participating in this movement. Like a bird spreading its wings, we want to open from the center of the body and close from the center of the body as we exhale. So we're going to open and close as we exhale. Almost like this ball is inflating and deflating. Now keep going. The lung meridian runs along the thumb side of the arm, the inside, right up the arm and into the chest, into the shoulder girdle here. The large intestine is on the other side, and like I said, they're basically one channel, or they're paired channels. So the axis of rotation of our arms here is going to be the thumb side of the arm, and we're looking to create a little traction through the tissues. Like when I pull on my shirt here, I create a little traction. Can you feel that through that part of your body? And if your arms are getting super tired, we don't just drop them, we let them come down slowly. You take a moment to rest, reestablish your alignments, and then float back up. So we're going to do a couple more here. Inhaling and exhaling. You want the shoulders, so the arms are rotating as a byproduct deep within the shoulder girdle is where the movement and the rotation comes from. That's where it's being generated. Inhaling, the whole body opens. Exhale, the whole body closes. And then we'll let that come to a rest, and we'll let the arms sink back down. Back into our Wu Ji, placing our awareness in our lower belly and our lower back. The tip of the tongue sits at the roof of the mouth, behind the upper teeth. And for this next exercise, we're going to open the feet a little bit. I'm going to place one hand on my lower back, resting, relaxed. If this is super uncomfortable for you, then place your hand on your hip or under your belly. Some people have issues with their shoulders, and you have to be able to modify each one of these movements to meet you where you're at today. And over time, things are going to change and transform for you. So for the kidneys, legs are straight. We're going to bend the knees slightly here, sitting in this stance, and we're not going to be bouncing up and down throughout. We're going to try to maintain this level, as we move through the movement. Then extend my right arm. I'm going to slowly shift and rotate to one side, like I'm looking at myself in a mirror here. Shoulders relaxed, elbow is heavy. Lower back is relaxed, breathing into that hand on the low back. Head lifts. We're going to inhale, continue to inhale. As the hand passes the crown, chest is soft. And I'm breaking up this exercise a little bit to explain it as we move through it. Pause here. It's like I lowered a huge lid on a huge pot, palm facing down. I'm not leaning forward. I'm not leaning back. My hips are level. My chest is not sticking out. I'm nice and rooted, and I'm paying attention to that rear leg. Even though I'm more heavily weighted in this side, I'm not just letting my knee collapse. So we're cognizant of this line of force through that empty leg. We're going to inhale, and we're going to exhale. We're shifting and rotating, shifting and rotating. You see how I try to keep a bend in my arm throughout the exercise? And I'll show you from the back. I'm rotating. I'm shifting my weight. I'm cognizant of that rear leg. My eyes lose the hand for a minute, and then they pick back up. I'm inhaling as my arm drills and spirals, exhaling as the body rotates and we place the lid. If you'll notice, we want everything to arrive together, and my nose, my hand, and my belly button are in line. And I'm trying to maintain that throughout the whole exercise. Okay? Meaning, I don't rotate too fast and then my arm has to go. No, it's all working together harmoniously, like a symphony of movement. Inhaling and exhaling. We'll switch arms. Inhaling and exhaling. Now, I'm very much aware of the area underneath my hand on my back, because that is around the area of the kidneys, which we're trying to stimulate here, and acupoints and the nerves that innervate the organs. So we're trying to stimulate this area, and we do that through observation, awareness, and intention. As my hand comes over the top, I want to feel almost like a spreading happening deep within my back around that area, right? The lumbar area, L4, L3. These are referring to the vertebrae in the back. And that's where we're trying to, basically everything revolves around that hub. Basically where the arm and the hand are settling here. We'll do a couple more. Okay. And you see, sometimes I pivot my foot because I don't want my feet splayed like this as I go. It's going to be uncomfortable for my knee and my hip. So I always want my rear foot to be headed in the direction of my movement and my intention. Just like if I was going to throw a ball in that direction, I wouldn't put my foot out like that. It wouldn't make sense. I would have no power. Inhaling and exhaling, and then we'll let that come to a rest. And the final exercise we're going to work on today, we're going to go through all of these one more time, a bit more seamlessly, where I'm not explaining as much. The next one is going to be for the spleen and stomach. We're going to let the arms come to above the head slightly. You can see a nice round shape in my arms. My head is still extended through the crown, but I'm going to tilt my head slightly to look up, and I'm going to find a place on the ceiling, and I'm going to stay fixed on that point. If I'm outside, I'm going to gaze across the sky when I go into this movement. So it's like we're looking through a window here that we're making with our hands, and we're going to rotate slightly from the waist and the sternum. We're just going to rotate to one side. The hips are fixed. So if we have flashlights on each hip, they're facing forward, but my waist rotated to the left here. And I'm staying fixated on the point on the wall. Shoulders are dropped. Elbows are heavy. We inhale. Stomach and spleen channels run down the chest and the torso. And we're breathing in, and the spleen and stomach are on the left side. So right now I'm focused on my left ribs. Taking an inhale, I exhale, I pan across the ceiling, keeping the hips fixed relatively. And then I inhale on this side, into that side of the body, into those channels. I exhale and I rotate. Inhale, hang out for a second. Exhale and rotate. Shoulders are relaxed. You want to imagine that we're holding the arms up with the entire body. And the stomach and spleen are related to the element of earth. And so it's like It's like we're standing in the center of the globe and we're watching the earth rotate around us. It's kind of one of the ideas you can have in your mind. We're not sticking our butt out, we're breathing into our belly. And your arms might be dying here for a moment. Again, if they get too tired, we're going to let the shoulders drop, elbows sink, hands come down to give you some relief. Okay, so we'll go through these one more time so you can really feel this happening in your body. So we're going to let the arms float up into the lung. We're going to inhale, extend through the arms, and rotate, exhale, and close. Center of the body is opening. Center of the body is closing. And you'll notice from the side, we're not opening the arms so much that the chest sticks out. The chest has to remain soft. I hope I'm still in the camera there. So I'm still looking at both of my hands in the periphery of my vision. The whole body is inhaling and exhaling. Let the hands sink down. We'll open up the feet ever so slightly. Shift and rotate. Shift and rotate. We're rotating around that central hub, deep within the lower torso, the area of the low back. And we're trying to synchronize the breath and the movement of the entire body. We'll shift, switch hands, looking for the yin within the yang. As we shift and rotate in one direction, what do you feel shifting and rotating to counterbalance that movement? As the arm spirals in one direction, can you feel something happening in the opposite direction? Like if you were moving in a big body of water, do you feel the counter current? Chest is soft. Extending through the crown, sinking through the lower back. Good, and then we'll let the feet come back under the hips. Take a moment. We're going to bring our hands back over our head, dropping the shoulders and the elbows, finding a point on the wall, inhaling on one side, and then exhaling as we turn. When one thing moves, everything moves. We're trying to let go of the shoulders, let go of the arms, supporting your arms with your legs and your waist. And the breath is natural, it's not forced. We'll let the hands come back down. We'll finish with a couple of what we started with. Inhaling and rising up. Feeling something anchor into the floor. Exhaling and sinking down. Do one more. tuning into the alignments, and your breathing and your weight. And then move around a little bit. I hope that you enjoyed that. Give that a try. You can knock out 3 to 6 repetitions of each one in probably 2 or 3 minutes. If you do that 2 or 3 times a day over the course of a few weeks, a few months, you are going to feel like a different person. This is going to open up a lot of things for you internally, and it gives you control of how you feel in any particular moment of any particular day. You can tune into these movements and these alignments, and it will start to open up your body. If you want to learn more, if you are interested in my most frequently asked questions to Qigong PDF, free PDF that I created a little while ago for people who had a lot of questions, give that a download. There's a link somewhere underneath here. Reach out with any questions. Let me know in the comments what you felt as you were going through these movements. Please go ahead and subscribe and like this video. Helps the algorithms. Thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Take care.